Alright, so today I want to discuss important topic, TV or monitor, but for console gaming. I think there is no sense to discuss PC because the answer is pretty obvious. For PC it should be monitor, always, period. But what about PlayStation and Xbox, or even Nintendo? Let's find out. So I have all three consoles, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X and Nintendo Switch. And for the last 10 years I've been playing on TV only. I don't know why, but in my mind console gaming was purely for TV, but recently I've tried to play on monitor and oh my, it was something. In this video I briefly explained the reasons and my impressions, feel free to check it out. It was like two different worlds, real next generation gaming experience. But is the monitor really better? The answer is not so obvious, so let's try to figure it out. At the beginning I wanted to make comparison of two particular models of a TV and monitor, basically those that I own. It's a Sony TV, model will appear somewhere here on the screen, and Alienware. But after reading and exploring dozens of different reviews, articles and videos, I was able to identify the pattern of differences between those two types in general, like TVs and monitors. So let's dive in. So regular or average TV has next specs: panel type LED, size 55 to 75 inches, Full HD or 4K with 60 Hz refresh rate or lower, response time usually more than 10 milliseconds, price around $400 to $600. And we can call them premium one, panel type OLED, OLED, size from 55 to 75 inches, 4K with 120 Hz refresh rate, response time around 3-5 milliseconds, price around $800 to $1,500, but price can reach a couple thousands of dollars easily. And again, as I mentioned, it is an average TV. You can easily find better, bigger, more expensive. For monitors, it is next. Size 27 to 32 inches, Full HD or 4K with a refresh rate 60 Hz, response time around 1 to 5 milliseconds, price around $200-400. And for premium one, panel type OLED, resolution 4K with refresh rate 120, 240 or even 360 Hz, response time between 0.1 and 1 millisecond, and price is around $700 to $1,000. So what we have out of it? For gaming, even average monitor will overcome premium TV. We have several important points here. Refresh rate is usually higher for monitor. Refresh rate is crucial for gaming because it directly impacts how smoothly the action on screen appears and how responsive your inputs feel. The refresh rate refers to how many times per second your screen can update the image, typically measured in hertz. For example, a 60 Hz monitor updates 60 times per second. A 120 Hz monitor updates 120 times per second, which is twice as fast. A 240 monitor updates 240 times per second, making things even smoother. The higher the refresh rate, the smoother the game looks when you are moving around, especially in action games like shooters or racing games. It reduces motion blur, stuttering and ghosting when a previous frame lingers on screen, which makes a big difference in gameplay quality. The response time is usually lower on monitor, which means faster. Response time is crucial for gaming because it directly affects how smoothly and clearly the action on screen appears. It refers to how quickly a pixel can change from one color to another, usually measured in milliseconds. A lower response time means quicker transitions, which leads to less motion blur and ghosting. In fast-paced games like first-person shooters, quick movement on screen can cause motion blur if the response time is too slow. For example, if you're quickly turning or moving across a map, a slow response time could leave behind a trail or ghost images. This can make it harder to track enemies or react quickly, negatively affecting your gameplay experience in general. And by now, you're probably a bit confused, because it seems like both of those characteristics contribute to the same. And you will be right in some way. So let me give you a couple examples to make the difference and the importance of those characteristics absolutely clear. Refresh rate controls how often the image updates, while response time determines how fast each individual pixel can change. If your monitor has a high refresh rate, like 120 Hz or 240, but high response time, for example, like 10 milliseconds or more, you'll still see motion blur or ghosting, even if the display refreshes frequently. In this case, the high refresh rate is somewhat wasted because the pixels can't keep up with the refresh rate. On the other hand, if you have a low response time, like 1 millisecond, but only a 60 Hz refresh rate, the pixel transition will be sharp, but the display won't be able to show more than 60 frames per second. In this case, your image is clearer, but not as smooth as it could be. Ideal scenario. To get the best experience, you need both fast response time and a high refresh rate. A 1 millisecond response time and 120 Hz refresh rate, for example, will give you clear, sharp, and fluid motion without any ghosting or blur. This is especially important in competitive gaming, where every millisecond counts. In this setup, the monitor can refresh the image 120 times per second, and each pixel can change quickly enough to keep up, meaning you get smooth and responsive gameplay with crisp visuals. Hopefully, now it's clear? Good. Now let's check what else we have. As you can see, TV and monitor has pretty much the same resolution, but you will feel it differently, depending on the size of your screen. Resolution is basically the number of pixels that make the image displayed on your screen. It is typically represented as the width and height. For example, 1920 per 1080 or 2560 per 1440, whereas the first number is the number of pixels horizontally, from left to right, and the second number, the number of pixels vertically, from top to bottom. The more pixels a screen has, the higher the resolution, and the sharper and more detailed the image will appear. And the next thing what is important here is the size of the screen, because this relation of the resolution and the size of the screen will give us the next term that you already probably heard, PPI. It's a pixel per inch. And what you have to understand here is that the higher PPI number, the better. For example, for your 75 inches 4K TV, PPI will be 58.7. And for 32 inches 4K, it will be already 137. And for example, for your smartphone, it will be even greater. PPI will be between 400 and 500, somewhere there. Hopefully now it's clear why I have to consider not only the resolution, but also the size of the screen. And the last point, but not least, on this topic is the distance between you and your screen, because all that PPI thing really matters when you are really close to your screen. That's why PPI number is so high on your phone, a bit less on your monitor, or even lower on your TV. Because if you will think about it, you will notice that distance between you and your phone is the lowest. You usually hold it in your hand right in front of your face. That's why PPI number here should be the highest. And pixels are so small, so human eye is not able to see it. Distance to your monitor screen a bit greater, so PPI can be lower, and the distance to your TV is even greater, so PPI can be lower there. Oof, congrats! Part with numbers is over. So, at the first look, it seems like monitor is better in all cases, but it's not as obvious as it seems, because there are some aspects that most of people do not consider, and I'm talking about your gaming setup. Let's talk about how are you playing. So for the monitor, it is a desk, a chair, and a console, of course. With the TV, it is usually a couch and a console. So most of you probably already have a couch, right? So to play on a TV, you basically don't need anything else. For monitor, you need a dedicated desk, which is also should not be a problem, but still, I believe the number of people who has a couch is much more higher than those who has a dedicated desk for their monitor. Next thing is a TV, and I believe you already have a TV, right? I mean, like, who hasn't nowadays? With the monitor, situation is different. A TV gaming setup is much more comfortable, as you just need to grab your controller, turn on your console, and sit comfortably on your couch. Another great thing about playing on TV is that you can take almost any position. You can sit, you can lay, you can stand. Almost any position, even the most weird one. And still you can play and see what is going on the screen. With monitor, things are getting a bit more complicated. You're restricted with your chair and desk setup, and here's what I mean by that. The default position is next. You are sitting on a chair and holding your hands on a desk or under it on your lap, which apparently much more comfortable than holding it on the desk. After several gaming sessions, I've noticed that holding your hands on the desk is pretty painful, as this side of your hand is smashed with the desk corner, especially if your desk is not white, basically as mine, which means you will suffer from the same problem as I am. So, as I already mentioned, you're pretty limited with the positions that you can take while playing on monitor. Basically, it's just sitting and some sort of laying in case if your chair can bend enough, but even this position will not give you as much comfort as couch, right? Also, you won't be able to play standing. You can do it only in case if you have a standing desk, but such desk is more expensive. So after several long gaming sessions, like 3-4 hours at a time, my neck, back, shoulders are tired a lot. And in case if your job considers a lot of standing, then such gaming style should be fine for you. As after work, you can sit and have some relax and rest, but a lot of people has sitting work. So just think about it. You're sitting at your desk around 8-9 hours a day for your work, and then another 2-3 or even more hours again sitting in the same chair, in the same position, just to play. I think your body and health in general won't say thank you for such a lifestyle. It's something that you need to think about. Considering all that, what is better? And I believe everyone should decide for themselves what is more important to you. Even like this, the best decision for you will change over time. Because when you're young, you can sit and play as much as you want without significant consequences. But with time, you will value comfort more and more. I'm thinking about myself right now. When I was a teenager, I was able to sit in front of my monitor for days and I was absolutely fine. Now I'm 32 and I can't do it anymore for so long. My neck, shoulders are tired, my eyes burn. I mean, I'm not that old yet, but if I have to choose, it would be comfort over the technical excellency. Fortunately, I don't have to choose, because I have both setups and I can use whatever I want at a certain period of time. So my advice to you will be next, get both setups and play each of it depending on what you want right now. Do it. It's the best. If you can't get both setups due to any reason and you need to make a choice, just think about yourself, about what is important to you. And of course, don't forget about your body and health needs. If you have any problems with your neck, back, or you need to change your position a lot, or you can't sit for a long period of time, probably TV and couch gaming style is your choice. If you want to have the sharpest picture and you're ready to deal with playing on the chair without changing your position a lot, then monitor chair gaming style is for you. And in general, remember that gaming is something that must give you joy and happiness. You don't have to suffer while playing, so choose wisely. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the down section below. Don't forget to hit that like button and see you in the next one. Happy gaming!